So we have multiple problems here inside the United States. Some of it is trying to combat the fentanyl crisis. Some of it is the protests that are happening on large campuses all across the United States. Some of it is just making sure cities have enough money so that they can pay for police, pay for libraries, keep parks open, and also keep immigrants in housing. Now, we have a lot of problems, and this is just the beginning. According to multiple reports, we are now seeing more and more immigrants come across the border. And one of the reasons why this is a problem, not just because of funding, not just because of space and housing here inside the US, but now the problems of illegal immigration and protest are starting to clash. I saw a report just the other day that said multiple migrants are sleeping in tents on college campuses because there's free food, there's water, there's shelter, they're providing tents. Now, I don't know who is providing the tents. I don't know who is funding the food, the water, the porta potties that are there on the campuses, but there are. People are funding these protests. So I'm going to break down what's going on in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So as of right now, we have a massive issue. The big issue was that we were seeing immigrants come across the Texas border. Texas put up a stop and said, no, you're not doing this. They enlisted the National Guard. They started to bring in more fencing, more barbed wire, and this prevented thousands and thousands of people from coming into the state of Texas. Well, now they're going west. They are going over to California. And I want to play this for you, okay? Because what we are seeing right now is people are coming into the United States. They're not even asking for asylum. They're saying they're here to work. They are not coming into Texas. They're going into California. They're going into the Jacumba area or even San Diego. And police are just letting them walk through. One of the number one reasons why police are letting them walk through is because police are outnumbered. The Border Patrol is outnumbered. They do not have enough support. But listen to what this person has to say. This is a California congressman. Okay, listen to him. Just listen to this.
And besides policy change, does San Diego need more federal aid, and if so, in what form?
No, we're a sanctuary state. We've asked for it. Our $73 billion deficit speaks legions when you're in the highest tax state in the union. So quite frankly, it is not appropriate to send money to a state that is part of the problem, not part of the solution. If you want to send money, send it to Texas, who's trying to do the right thing against against a president who won't let them do it. That would be where I would send the aid. I'd send the aid to the National Guards and so on that are at least having some success in keeping at least some of the criminal element out of Texas.
So this is a California congressman, Darrell Issa. Now, he is saying that, no, don't send more assistance to California. Send it to Texas. So he is telling the lawmakers, no, don't send us anything because we do not know how to spend it. We are a sanctuary state. We have multiple sanctuary cities, right? We're not spending it correctly. But let's keep listening.
I understand your sentiment, but what do you say to your constituents listening who may say, wait a minute, what are you telling us? We deserve it because of what they're doing in Sacramento.
What Sacramento is doing is creating the problem. If Sacramento is not willing to change, look, the Lord helps those who help themselves. If you're bound and determined to sink a ship, it's not up to the Coast Guard to come help you. At the end of the day, you scuttle a ship, it goes down, and you go with it.
Interesting. Very interesting thoughts. Okay, but I want to play another thing for you. Because right now, just in the San Diego area, we are seeing thousands and thousands of people enter, okay? We are, over the past, I think, 2 weeks, we have already seen over 20,000 people enter through San Diego. Police are just letting them go. But I want to play you one last thing, and then we need to talk about this crisis that is happening on college campuses. Let's listen to this.
this head on. When I've met with people at the border from multiple countries, including China, Russia, and so on, they have said they're here for jobs. They haven't said to me, and I'm there with translators, they haven't said they're here seeking asylum, and they still get to stay in. The policy today, they may say that they deport a great many, but the reality is they just have to show up and they're welcomed in. Until we return to Mexico, which we have a right to do, we are going to continue to have it. And like I say, a fence does no good if the gate's open with a welcome mat.
So exactly what I was saying earlier is people are coming up to the border, and really all they're saying is they're here to work. They're not here claiming asylum. Okay, they're not here to seek asylum. They're not doing that, because eventually they're going to go back to their home countries, whether it's Mexico, whether it's China, Russia, could be Ukraine. It doesn't matter, right? They are just here because they want to work. That's what they want. Let's keep listening.
And so I understand your point that it's policy that needs to be changed. In the meantime, what adjustments will San Diego Border Patrol agents make in response to this surge?
Well, the brave men and women, not only of the Border Patrol, but of ICE and Coast Guard, they're spending most of their time and most of their effort, and it is productive, but it's against the tide. They're going after fentanyl. They're going after methamphetamines. San Diego is the #1 importing area for drugs. And I have 100 miles of the Mexican border, along with one other congressman for all of San Diego County. Whether they come in through the water, they come in around the fence, out in the desert, we have an onslaught of that. Every month, thousands of pounds are seized just inside trucks that are trying to get in with false floors and false walls. That's the epidemic that at least the men and women of these agencies are still able to do something about. But if we're not able to stem the flow, there's an awful lot of backpacks full of drugs that are getting in, and it's poisoning. Over 100,000 Americans will die this year from fentanyl alone.
So I want to stop it there, because what he's just said is that they are bringing it over now in backpacks. There's thousands upon thousands of backpacks that are coming across that border every single day. And this is what has many people concerned, because yes, we are seeing protests here on college campuses. Well, where are people selling this stuff? A lot of it is on college campuses. And now everybody is congregating to certain areas, okay? Certain areas, certain courtyards, whatever, of these college campuses. Now it's making it much easier. Yes, there's still police there, but police are not trying to crack down on people selling drugs. No, they're trying to just make sure that the college is safe. They're just trying to police the people, not arrest anybody, at least not yet. And this is why I want to bring this up. This is just from today. It says, as colleges away crackdowns on protests, questions about outsiders linger. Because now what we're seeing, and like I just said, there's reports on this, where we are now seeing people that are migrants coming in, being able to stay at those campuses because they can put up a tent too. There's people that are providing tents. So you go to this campus and guess what? There's people there that will give you a tent. They will make you food just to be there and protest with them. Again, we don't know who's funding this, but somebody is. All right, I want to play you this though. This happened at UCLA. Okay, just the other day. This is UCLA. Look at this.
Pushing, scuffles, and tension.
My other grandfather got kicked out of Libya. What's the final solution?
As pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian protesters face off with dueling rallies at UCLA. We saw demonstrators trying to drown out each other's message. Some were treated for pepper spray, and for most of the afternoon, officers stayed away, allowing protesters to police themselves.
So right there, and the reason why I wanted to show you this is because at UCLA, you had protesters, okay? You had the pro-Palestinian and the pro-Israel demonstrations clashing. They were going head to head. That is what I said just the other day is going to be a problem when these two protests come together. That is when, according to the FBI and Homeland Security, we are going to potentially see more violence. But all this is happening. There's more people coming into the United States. There's funding moving away from the police force. So now we are not seeing police arrest people and really protect the American people. And I talked about this the other day as well, where police are almost powerless because they can't go and, as of right now, they're being told that we need to protect the campuses. We need to watch the people that are protesting. So they're not watching to make sure that businesses aren't being pretty much stolen from. Homes aren't being burglarized. Right? They're not watching that. Street racers that could potentially take the life of an innocent person. They're not watching that. Right? They are making sure that these protests are peaceful. But again, what about the illegal drugs coming in and being sold within the city? Well, here's another article that I was reading just this morning. It says the White House is silent if anti-Israel protesters will be barred from student loan forgiveness programs. President Biden in part campaigned on student loan relief in 2020. What I can tell you right now is that this was a question that people had in the very beginning, when the protests were just starting. And this wasn't just from a week or two ago. This is ever since in the beginning, from October 7th. In the first couple weeks, there were protests. Like, why are we allowing this? What are we doing? But the Biden administration has not said anything. So are people that are protesting and causing potential riots, are these people going to be barred from receiving student loan forgiveness? We don't know. But we're going to find out soon enough. All I can tell you right now is the interesting part about what's going on is that many are treating these as two different situations, where we got a migrant crisis. We also have these protests. But at the end of the day, these are almost the exact same thing. Okay? These are starting to go from two different things, and now they're being combined into one. This is going to create an even bigger problem, at least according to an FBI official. So, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but all I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.